On this note, I invite guest of honor, Mr. Sanjeev Deshpande garu. I've been working with him in the IT digital transformation and startups panel in CII closely, and thank you, sir. Learning a lot from you, and I think they should also.
Thank you, Srikant garu, and Jay Chaudhary garu. Your message is absolutely on the dot, very apt for the current times that we are facing. So, what do we need to create and get jobs? But jobs is only one aspect of it. Ultimately, for us to have jobs, we need enterprises, we need companies, we need entrepreneurs. So for jobs, first let's talk about three things. Again, I heard this someplace. I will not claim this to be my, I would say, invention. They said to get jobs, you need something called ASK, ask. I will start the K first. So K means knowledge. You need knowledge. S stands for skills. You need skills. And more than K and S, you need A, which is the attitude. In India, from the time we are, went to kindergarten, all the way until we graduate out of college, we have a specific attitude which does not promote lot of creativity. Our entire education system prevents us from exploring something new. So the creativity, the entrepreneurship spirit that we see in certain sections of maybe India or certain countries is somehow lacks in our country. Keenness, inquisitiveness, eagerness, the ability to think and research and develop. This is not very widely spread in India. And that's why even if you look at IT services companies, if you see most of the inventions are still happening outside of the country. And most of our inventions, I'm not saying all, most of our inventions are still service-oriented inventions, especially in IT sector. Of late, T-Hub included, in last 3-4 years, probably situation has changed. But if you look at from 1995 until 2015, if you look at the number of startups in India who have invented something new compared to the inventions that have happened outside, ours is fairly small. There are two things. One, you need a lot of capital to also invest in the R&D. But besides the capital, it is our ability to think and think beyond. Now with the Gen AI, what Jay Chaudhary garu referred, anything that is monotonous, anything that is not creative, assume that that job will be gone in next 5 to 10 years, maybe 15 years. And in that context, if I see what Srikant garu is trying to do, which is to promote scientists, because scientists' fundamental function is to think beyond, question the status quo, explore what is not there, and come up with something that does not exist now. It could be in any sector. Now you take that, the venture or the initiative to create these creative minds who will ultimately define the future for India and the globe. And that too in a sector which is life sciences. So what is the most crucial sector? Now if I go on from the creativity and also to the life sciences sector, what is the most important thing for the human being? And obviously some watched our, at least in my generation, we watched this Roti Kapda or Makan. That used to be our primary goal. And today it is still, unfortunately, it is roti and it is health. Food and life sciences. And it's actually the other way. It's healthcare, life sciences and food. Our healthcare is getting very, very expensive. It is in a way non-affordable for many, many people. If you are a middle-aged person at a middle-income family, and if you, God forbid, if you get infected with something that is probably not, that you can afford to, then chances of your survival fairly minimal, or you will compromise on the quality of your life. So pharma and life sciences plays a very key role in making the healthcare affordable, increasing the quality of life. And from that perspective, be it, if you look at the life sciences industry, most of the patented drugs are currently, unfortunately, not in India. Most of the patents are still held by the large conglomerates outside of the country. And in India, we are very, very good, but we still manufacture a lot of generic drugs. We expire, we reverse engineer once the patents are over, and then we come up with a lot of things. In fact, I was in a conference by Indian Pharmaceutical Association last week in Bombay, and they're setting up a skill building center by investing almost $50 million. And a lot of our Hyderabad companies are also participating. And I must mention two coincidences here. I worked with Bharat Biotech, and today Sai Prasad from Bharat Biotech is the chairman for CII, and I work with him, of course, with Srikanth. And also, I lived in Wisconsin, not too far from Madison, Wisconsin. I used to live in Wisconsin for 10 years, and I did my MBA from University of Wisconsin. So I am really associated with this. But I see life sciences is a great industry, right from the drug discovery to the clinical trials to the manufacturing. And this is probably one of the most regulated industry as well. As you know, a lot of computer systems need to be validated. FDA and other European regulations actually require you to meet certain standards, certain regulations. From that perspective, invention, discovery in the life sciences industry is fairly expensive. And from that perspective, it is expensive because the human power is very expensive, the right human power. If you have undertaken this task of developing million scientists over next few year period, that will ultimately benefit India in a significant way, so that we can probably discover a lot more drugs than what we are doing now. The timeline will shrink if you start adopting right tools. Gen AI, if you use, that will shrink the overall timeline that is going to take to invent a drug to probably by 10, 15, 100 times, depending on how good of a model that you have, and also what goes on with the computer, in the quantum computing, and also with the, the next level of Gen AI. So from that perspective, I see a tremendous benefit, a great mission, noble mission that you all have undertaken under the leadership of Srikanth. I really appreciate the good work, and you just started, obviously, but it's a big deal. Step first taken is almost accomplished in my mind, because nobody takes a step first. I'm pretty sure once you started to run, you'll get someplace. And I'm pretty sure with the good people that you have on the board and everywhere else, I'm pretty sure you're going to get to a much better place than where we are today. I really appreciate Srikanth and his team, Usha Garu, and I wish you all the best. And I would figure out, if there is any way, we can be lucky enough to partner with you in some fashion. I'll consider ourselves fortunate. Again, thank you for the opportunity, Srikanth, and I'll wish you all a very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sanjeev Garu. So as Sanjeev Garu mentioned, right, the new opportunities for the Gen AI and also for the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas who are now sitting in this hall, from the 9th and 10th grade. You're going to play around with these new tools that Sanjeev Garu has mentioned, AI, machine learning, all this that you hear, quantum, everything, right? So these are going to be your power tools, and where would you apply them? Of course, as a consumer, you're consuming the games and your educational content, entertainment content and all. But on the professional side, right, drug discovery, of course, I had an opportunity to work as a clinical research coordinator while I was in University of Maryland, sir. The study that I was into, an acute asthma study for 0 to 2 years age group, it was by Merck, and there is another study by MedImmune. For the first time, I got into clinical research coordination, and I was surprised that the human trials was happening after 12 years of research. 12 years, and at the 13th year, this drug is actually tested on the humans, and then it gets into the market. So if you look at a drug discovery life cycle, it takes 10 to 15 years ideally. But today, because of these tools, we can probably get them into life from 10 to 15 years to 10 to 15 months. And this is the possibility. And there are thousands or even millions of such problems, the healthcare problems, the infections, and I don't want to give more. I want Dr. Aarti and Usha to throw light in that space. I'm telling you, starting today, the next 10 years or 15 years, whoever is starting from the high school to those who are already working, those who are in their mid-careers as well, it hardly takes 2 to maximum 3 years for us to transform our career. Those who are already into IT as well, add this domain expertise and start playing around. And this is where Future Scientist Forum, 6D Varsity, and our collaborations are going to give you the ground for experimentation. Okay, and on this note, thank you, sir. You throw the perfect light on the story, and this is all for you guys, okay? We are part of the story already, and we want you to actually get into this part of the story and play around with these microorganisms and try to control them. Okay?